Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 90 of Tales of Tamriel. I am your host, Aggelos, and with me this afternoon, the man over there playing his console, Avi Optimal. How are you, sir?
I'm doing really good. 10 away from 100 episodes.
Yeah, 10 away from 100 episodes. We're almost there. Almost at the big 100. Yeah. Ooh, 100 episodes. Dear goodness, we've been here for a long time. I don't even know what we're doing for the 100th episode. Like, I have no idea. Like, none.
I'll buy a fancy beer for that
Thais is
episode.
shaking her head like, I'm going to be there. Right? Yeah, 100th episode.
Get someone to babysit the baby.
I wasn't supposed to say that out loud, apparently.
It's supposed to be a
I'm
surprise,
doing
man.
everything wrong. I'm in so much trouble, guys.
Now it's no longer a surprise.
Now it's no longer a surprise. Well, you still need to tell me what we're doing for our 100th episode.
Well, that was going to be the surprise.
I know, but...
I'll be there, but,
Oh.
you know.
All right. I'm in trouble. And to take all the hate off of me, Asteldian, how are you, sir?
Hey, there's no hate over here. I'm doing fine.
No hate over here. That's right. All right. How have you been doing this week, sir?
Yeah, I've been doing pretty good. Did anyone make much use of the Black Friday? Found something crazy?
The Black Fredos sale? Of course.
Well, that or any Black Friday stuff. We're computer nerds. It's all bound to be gamey related some way or another.
Yeah, I got Far Cry 4 on the PlayStation for like a nickel, so that was nice.
For like 1 nickel. Oh, well, that shows, I guess, I don't know if that's the quality of the game or if it's just a really good deal. Who knows?
Hard to tell.
It's hard to tell. Have you played it yet?
Just a little bit. Not enough to give any feedback on it.
Gotcha.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful, I'll say that.
Ah, I see. I see. All right, well, guys, it's been a holiday weekend, and pretty much all week has had absolutely zero news on the Elder Scrolls Online front, with the exception of one thing, which is Monday, or this, I shouldn't say Monday, but I guess this week during the original maintenance for both consoles, you guys will be getting the, I don't know what the number patch is for you guys, but for us it was 2.2.6, which is the one that fixed the load screens. Yay.
Yeah.
Very, very important patch.
That is honestly probably one of the most important patches that have come out so far, because those load screens are terrible, and the patch has fixed the majority of them on the PC side of things. So this week, guys, be prepared for not having to, have to take a bowel movement every time you do a load screen. That was what I said on.
You really did it up on that episode at ESOTU.
I did, and that's going to be my new thing. The bowel movement load screen. I think that's just what we're going to roll with. Yeah, it was great. It was great. I couldn't wait. So that's really... Oh, my goodness. I just got Sneak Thief Extraordinaire.
Hey,
I have
you
officially
go.
pickpocketed 1,000 people in Tamriel,
Oh
and
my goodness.
I can now finally get rid of these 4 points in Ledger Domain, or whatever in the heck it's called. The subpar Thieves Guild.
the Wannabe Thieves Guild.
The Wannabe Thieves Guild. The Outlaws. I need those 4 points. I got to put them in other locations, so I will definitely be doing that. All right. Let's go ahead, and we're just going to move right into some discussion topics, because we did actually have a couple that we wanted to talk about this week. In lieu of having a lot of news, I've been going through our emails, and first and foremost, I have to apologize to all the people who have been emailing me in the show. I've been getting a lot of spam lately on our official email, and I've been working with our email provider who hosts that to get some better spam filters in place. But I've been getting tons of spam. So unfortunately, that means emails have been not getting lost, just not getting to in a timely manner, because I'm rooting through all the spam mail. So I actually have a couple of them today that I have to dig through. And my little milk drinker is screaming his head off. He's excited. He has things he has to say, too. All right, well, let's start off first with the first one we got, which is from our Patreon supporter, Cameron. He goes, I have a question that I've been confused about for a while. Why does everyone hate the vet ranks? Are they just taking away the vet ranks and just keeping everyone's level at 50, or would they just increase the level cap? Why does everyone hate the vet ranks?
I think you guys said it pretty good on ESOTR with a lot of people who level alts like myself hate them simply because God, they're such a grind if you gotta do them more than once.
Right. Yeah, I definitely feel like it's the people with the multiple alts that have the issues. The first time going through it, it's not that bad. At first it was a little bit of a pain because of the sheer amount of, I guess I wouldn't say it's too much of a pain. Before they nerfed the content in the later zones, it was not that it was overly difficult. Some people thought it was. I personally didn't. I know Asteldian, you didn't either. Thought it was a nice difficulty before, where it made it difficult for a single player. 2 players, it was doable, but still required a little bit of coordination. But it was such a departure from how it was from the 1 to 50 experience that they didn't ease you into it. And a lot of gamers nowadays feel like it was so difficult, and the time it took to level was so vast that it just didn't feel like you were gaining power. And in reality, the only way you were gaining power in the early points was by getting new gear, which was very expensive at the time to make anyway. So people didn't really get new vet gear every vet level. They did it every few. That meant that you were spending huge amounts of time leveling, very little time feeling like you were actually gaining power, because you weren't getting new stats every time you gained a vet level, at least originally. And you also weren't gaining power because you couldn't afford or didn't want to waste the materials to go from vet 1 to vet 2. Yeah, that's my thoughts. Steldian.
Yeah, well, I think you're right. It's mainly for having alts. It just gets really tedious. But to be honest, for me, it was them nerfing vet ranks which caused the big problem in the first place. Because not only was it a long grind, it's just bloody boring. As I was saying before we started, there's no challenge in it. So you do your quests, which are fun, enjoyable little quests. But the doing of the quest is fun. The actual in between, getting from A to B, is the really boring part, because mobs just get in your way. They're not a challenge or anything. They're just a frustration, like, oh, I've got to get off my horse and kill you, and you step off. It takes longer to get off your horse than it does to kill the mobs, and then you're back on your horse. You move a few more inches, like, oh crap, I've got to fight this guy as well. It's just a real doing that for 5-10 zones worth and millions of experience of mobs just falling over when you look at them. It's like, oh, this is so pointless. I may as well just be max level at this point and get on with whatever the game has to offer me later on.
Right. Yeah, I honestly think that was a lot of it. I mean, the current iteration of veteran point or veteran ranks really aren't that big of a deal. I don't believe they've nerfed them down in terms of difficulty to get them. It doesn't take near as much experience as it once did. And every time you gain levels, you gain skill points. Now you gain attribute points, so you are gaining power without needing to gain in ranks. The current iteration is not that bad. Like, it's not. I mean, they could have left it in, and it would have been okay. But
back in the day, one of the big problems was that you can finish gold content, and you'll only be VR 10, and then any other content, the XP is so shot and bad, it takes forever to get those other 6 or before 4 VR ranks. But now it's not really like that since they've reduced it. You can pretty much get VR 16 before finishing gold content pretty easy, and you get good experience in Rothgar and in all these other places, including Cyrodiil now. So I don't really mind them anymore. They used to be a big issue, but
well, there were several iterations of them. Originally, it was just like normal levels. How normal levels went up. Oh, I just gained a mage point. How normal levels went up, where every time you gained a level, the next levels required more experience. The first ones, it was millions and millions and millions of experience to gain champion points. That's why it took so long. And there wasn't enough quests. People were going through the zones and going, wow, I'm doing all the quests and stuff like that, and I'm not enough. I didn't gain enough power in this zone to make it to the next zone, which only lasted for a short period. So then what did they do? They said, all right, let's just remove that. Let's just do a flat 1 million experience per veteran rank throughout all of them, right?
That was awful. That was the worst conversion ever.
Yeah, because you know what happened then? People
They
were
clocked out.
running out of quests and not actually gaining, enough experience. It was weird. Like, people weren't gaining. They were doing all the quests before, and they were so far behind. It helped later, but when they nerfed, along with that 1 million, they also at that point nerfed the veteran ranks difficulty, so people were flying through the zones. So they were getting through gold content because, they were skipping mobs and stuff like that. Originally, you had to, like, pull every mob. You had to be careful. Like, if more than one mob showed up, you were in trouble if you were solo or whatever the case may be. So you were very careful, and that meant you pulled more mobs as a result, because you're like, should we get that guy over there in the corner? There's a chance he won't pull for us, but if he does, we're screwed, so let's go ahead and pull him.
Kind of like how it is in Imperial City right now. If you get too many mobs on you, you're pretty much done for.
Yeah, the difficulty in Imperial City, and I think I even remarked on that, was that the difficulty in Imperial City was like what the veteran ranks were before. And I think that actually kind of threw a couple people off when they went in there, like, oh, it's so difficult. Well, it's still not really all that difficult. It's just you're used to face rolling everything, and now you can't.
Has some challenge to it now.
Yeah, and I like that. Orsinium kind of went backwards on that as a little bit of a, in some aspects. The main quest mobs and mobs in there are very simple. Like, they're not hard. But the world bosses require groups, and that I actually think is really cool, like how it should be. Now, it's not like massive raid groups or anything, but, it's a 4-man party at least with a healer, someone taking the tank blows, or, unless you're really, really good. It does take a handful of people.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed the boss fight I did, and it would be nice if they revamped all their old bosses to make them all like that. Every boss should be a proper boss fight.
Yeah. No, and it's also nice because it brings back a little bit of sense of that community Asteldian we were talking about earlier, because if you're in Hrothgar right now, they do daily quests that offer you gear that you get a bag for, and you have to kill a world boss. So you constantly, when you're in Hrothgar, see people going, looking for more for the Mad Ogre, have quest, we'll share. People are trying to get groups together to take these guys down. It's definitely a step in the right direction. I want them to keep going with what they did in Hrothgar and build on it, because as much as Asteldian, you and I, we like that you need a group for everything. It's an Elder Scrolls game. They're probably never going to go that route. But I think they met a nice conjunction between the two of needing to group and being able to solo a lot of stuff. Like, you can be your solo adventurer, but there are things that you need groups for, and they incentivize them, I think, in a fairly good way. With the daily quests that people are always going, hey, I need people to look for. They need to keep this, and they need to keep trying it more often. Like, build upon this, because this is a good step.
Definitely, yeah, I love it. I mean, I haven't tried the public dungeons, but I'm hoping they're a similar vein to the world bosses. And you're right, I am obviously biased because I think grouping should be the main thing, but you're right, this is an Elder Scrolls game. It's not designed to be everything's got to be grouped, or even most things need to be grouped. And, I'm fine with that. It's more the objection that I'm trying to work out what level of competency have they based their solo play for, because there's soloing, then there's just a whole new level of soloing, because, I don't know, it just confuses me. Like, Orsinium, the mobs, the everyday mobs you come across just fall over when you go near them, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure why they were quite so easy, because I'm pretty sure even if you were, well, it's all battle leveled anyway, but I only wear some old gear from before the patch, and the mob's not even a vague challenge to me, and I'm just wondering You know, that's fine, solo game, but there must be some level of challenge you can give to a soloer.
Right.
This is kind of insulting.
Right. I don't know if they were very careful with that just because of it being a battle leveled zone. So
Yeah.
I mean, you could have technically a level 10 coming in here and being battle leveled up,
That's very true.
and they practically have no skills whatsoever, no passives, no nothing. So I think they tried to strike a balance. But I mean, generally, like I said, for the game that it is, both of us realize this game is an Elder Scrolls game. They're never going to do the hardcore, like you need groups for everything. But it's nice to know that they're putting incentives out there. They're changing things that do need grouping and giving people an incentive to actually group up and do it together.
Yeah, it's a big deal. I think it's a great step forward.
Yeah, for a modern MMO, that is a great concept, and they need to keep going with that and building upon that. I think every zone should pretty much be Orsinium plus something else. Build upon Orsinium. Take what Orsinium did, do all of that again, but build onto it. Show us what else you can do.
Talking of that, do we have any idea what they're doing with the silver and gold content? Do we think they've got plans of making that a battle level type idea? Or
Well, you know what? You are perfect because you rolled into what our next topic was.
wow, there we are.
It's
What a
like we
segue.
practiced. Like, literally, that was a perfect segue, and there was no way we practiced that, because I don't even think I told you what the topic was.
I was going to bring up, but there we are.
Our buddy Kilted Piper, he is actually, I believe, yeah, he is a Patreon supporter of ours, as well as a guild officer of ours. He's a great guy, and he posed a question to both us and Elder Scrolls Off the Record, asking about when they... Let me see if I can pull it up here, because I think I have it in my email. I want to get his words exactly and not actually just say whatever it is I'm going to say. For discussion, when veteran ranks is removed, how do they battle level? Specifically, like you said, silver and gold content and future content, they're going to battle level like they did Orsinium, but even Orsinium is battle level to VR 16. How do we foresee them? Like, when everything's 50, that's Cold Harbor, right? Like, that 50. But silver was easier than gold. Gold is supposed to be harder. And then you also have areas such as Craglorn, Rothgar. How are they going to show us progression? How are they going to show us difficulty going forward? I want to hear your thoughts. Like, what are they going to do?
Whew,
Yeah, I know.
that's a lot. That is a lot.
I know it's interesting to think about, but it's like, what are they gonna do? How are they gonna do it? Because once everyone's 50, that's great. But the thing about the VR zones now, at least the silver and gold, silver was supposed to be VR 1 to VR 5, and the mobs are leveled accordingly to that. Like, I am at the end of Bankora right now, at the very, very end, and the mobs are VR 5.
Well, they're gonna have to think about the new people. So, I mean, if you don't have any VR characters and no champion points, then you finally reach VR 1 and enter, or not VR 1, but reach level 50 and get a champion point, then most likely, I don't know, it'd probably just be battled level to VR 16, and the gear would be based upon your champion points. Kind of like in Zone 1, you have to have at least 10 champion points to put on the gear there. Something along that line? I'm not sure.
Okay, so you're thinking that what they're going to do is, well, if you look at it, I mean, that actually does kind of work with the champion points, and then I'll get to Asteldian here in a second. I want to hear his thoughts too. But within a certain amount of champion points, after 10 champion points, what is that? That's roughly 9% more powerful in one stat. I don't know what you would have to do to brace that across an entire character, but if you put 10 points into... well, let me actually show you here. I think I have something on the screen. I'm going to pull up my champion points. I think I actually have something that only has 10 in it. I have 20. Okay, so 20 points in precise strikes right now is giving me increased critical weapon strike by 8.1%. So that's 20. So if they were going to scale mobs, saying they had 10 champion points or whatever, how would they spread that out? You think they're just gonna try to do a base percentage, going, okay, these mobs are essentially 6% more powerful, and then the ones that are VR2 would be 15 champion points or whatever the heck it is that they want?
Well, how does it work in Orsinium right now? Do the guys in Orsinium all have a whole bunch of champion points?
No,
or-
but they're scaled to VR16. So what? Well, actually, they're scaled to VR16, which is what they equated to 160 champion points. That's what they said. 160 champion points is the equation of VR16. And that's what they're going to require people to have in order to equip gear that's VR16. Hence that whole conversion email that we talked about last week. They gave us a lot of math showing how they were going to convert people so that and catch up mechanics for people, because they didn't want people who maybe got VR16 before the change or before farming a lot of champion points or whatever, and then signed into their character after they removed the veteran ranks and went, wow, I only have 100 champion points. I can't even equip the gear I had on at VR16 because I just didn't do anything, right?
Right.
Because I only had 130 or something like that up until recently, up until they did the change, because I wasn't actively farming like I wasn't. Well, I honestly wasn't playing a whole lot of content where I gained experience. I was doing a lot of gathering. I was doing a lot of stuff like that. I wasn't, because Thais wasn't playing, so I wasn't actively questing that much. So my champion points were woefully low for a very long time. Had that change come into effect, even though I was veteran rank 16, I wouldn't have been able to equip the gear. Asteldian, we haven't heard from you yet.
No. I'm going to assume that if they do change to, once they get rid of vet ranks, since all gear is going to be based on champ points, it makes sense that the zones will be the same kind of idea. Since they're going to have to shake things up anyway, it makes perfect sense to make silver and gold in the same style of Orsinium, in that the silver content or whatever is your sort of battle level to a certain amount, to the equivalent of saying it's 100 champ points or whatever, and your gear, or more importantly, your gear becomes the equivalent of whatever a guy with 100 champ points can wear. So even if you're a fresh 50 and you've only got 0 champ points to your name, you go into the silver zones, and it then treats you as whatever a guy with 100 champ points. Therefore, your gear's being boosted to the equivalent of VR8 gear or whatever the hell they're going to do with it, and just boost you like that. It's definitely going to be complicated, but they must already have a plan, because Orsinium obviously going to suffer the same thing. That's already designed to battle level, but you're going to lose the vet 16, and it's going to be champ point based instead. And as I say, if they're doing all gear based on champ points as well, it just makes perfect sense that it's all going to be based on your champ point levels, and it'd be nice because it means you can go to silver or gold, and you get to choose. Basically, gives you the freedom of an Elder Scrolls game. You finish the main content, you can go wherever you want. Silver content, gold content, Orsinium. Ideally, Kragnor would hit the same treatment.
Right. Now, that would be really good for the Elder Scrolls feeling if they locked it out. The problem is, I will say one thing that is going to be kind of annoying. They currently lock silver and gold behind that quest that you can't.
Yeah, balls to the quest. Get rid of the quest. Waste of time.
Yeah, the Cadwell's silver, Cadwell's gold. He should just give you both right away, because right now they're locked. You have to finish the one before you can get the other, and that makes it.
Let's fake it. It's a weak ass quest story anyway. It's an excuse to let you go to the different content, and the quest itself gives you bugger all at the end anyway. So there's no loss of that quest disappearing at all, other than him saying, "Hey, now you can check out the other factions and learn what it's like on their side or whatever," and boom, off you go where you want.
Honestly, I wouldn't feel all that bad about pretty much them removing the quest. You talk to Cadwell, you get a quest right afterward. Cadwell's
you get to touch the light of Meridia.
Yeah, and that finishes the quest. Like, it doesn't give you a quest going, oh, experience the thing. Just literally go, oh, okay, here's Cadwell's, I don't know, Cadwell's light or something. Just rename it. It doesn't have to be gold, whatever. You get that, and when you touch the beacon, it teleports you to one of the factions or whatever, and that finishes the quest. Like, you just finished it like you would, and there's no more quests, but then you're able to port to either zone. You know, unlock essentially when it should just, as soon as you click the Meridia's Light, it unlocks travel to those two locations where you start, Volkogard and Glenumbra, and then when you look at your map, oh look, I have two locations I can go to. Where do I want to go?
Yeah, I like that. It'd be kind of dumb if they just locked out gold content and it's like, well, what's special about gold content? Oh, nothing really. It's just a story.
Yeah, nothing anymore.
Then why is it locked out? It doesn't make any sense. So.
Right. I mean, you wouldn't even have to call it silver and gold. They could just call it, you know. I mean, they could even give it the names of the alliances. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, the Dominion, and the Covenant. And the Pact.
Yeah, and you get both quests at once. That way, if you really wanted to keep the quest, you could keep it. Just as soon as you get it, you get both quests, and then it allows you to progress. And that way, if you're sitting there going, "Man, I really hate Alakir Desert," well, I'm going to go over to Oridon for a bit, or Green Shade, and then as soon as you get the Green Shade, you're going, I'm going back to the darn desert.
Yeah, two quests that go. One says Cadwell's Daggerfall or Covenant, and the other one says Cadwell's Dominion.
There you go. Cadwell's Pact. There you go.
Yeah.
And you just pick where you want to go. That would be great if they were able to do something like that, because that really would eliminate, and I think it would bring a lot of Elder Scrolls fans in, speaking more towards the Avi crowd of this. I'm speaking to you, Avi, here. The Avi crowd, which is the Elder Scrolls Go Wherever You Want crowd, would not really speak too much to the MMO crowd, which is the Asteldian side of things, because it still would be solo-ish content. But
yeah, but it wouldn't offend me. I'd at least have the freedom to go where I want. So while I'm not an Elder Scrolls lover, I'd appreciate the fact that I can just go where I want on a whim. I'm going to go there today.
It would make it feel less. Honestly, it would make it feel a lot less theme parky. It would make it feel more sandboxy, go where you want kind of deal. Because right now, it really is very much on rails. Now, when you're in the individual zones, you could pretty much do it in almost any order with the exception of the main quest line. The main quest line has to be done in the order for each zone. But just because the event, it pushes a story along. But it doesn't stop you from going, I'm going to... go to this area or this area. I can just go. I like it.
Yeah, we like the freedom. I mean, I say, funny enough, old school MMOs were very much like that. There's about 15 different zones I can think of off the top of my head, all for the same sort of level range back in the old days of EverQuest 1. And you should be amazed at how many places you could go if you wanted to. So the whole more Titan theme park is more of a new age thing than an old one.
Right. I mean, yeah, even the original EverQuest one was a theme park, but it didn't make you feel that way. It wasn't a bunch of lines that you...
Yeah, I mean, you could have 6 alts and do completely different content with each of them. Never see the same stuff.
Right.
Or up to max level.
Well, even early World of Warcraft was like that, where it wasn't so linear from this zone to this zone and this zone. There were multiple zones you could go to, so you were able to pick, do I want to go here or do I want to go to another location? Like, there were a lot of things that you could do.
Yeah, so if ESO starts taking that idea by getting rid of all these lockouts and just making it more battle leveled, I think it's a pretty smart way to go.
Yeah, definitely would win some favors with pretty much actually everybody now. I think even the MMO players have been clamoring for sandboxes for a while, getting sick of the same theme park all the time. So a game that pretty much allowed you to go wherever you wanted would be a big hit. Big hit. And it would ring a bell with all the single-player Elder Scrolls fans. Make the game feel more like that. I like it.
Yeah, I think it's a win-win for everyone.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree.
Can't really go wrong there. All right. Let's see here. Anyone have anything else to say about that before we move on to our last thing, which is really just an email from the community, from another community member that I wanted to highlight because we're already talking from community stuff. Just wrap it all in at once.
Yeah, let's hear it.
All right. This last one is from one of our community members. Let's see. Brett. I just want to make sure I said it correctly. Brett. I I actually responded to an email before because he had emailed me earlier in the week asking about the previous episode and one of the people I was talking about who was no longer playing the game, who I followed very closely. And I took the time to reply because it's a pretty quick question. He goes, "Thank you for the quick reply. One thing I noticed on the podcast was you mentioned dungeons scale to the leader. Since the Orsinium patch, it scaled everyone to VR16, even if you are 30 and queue for a dungeon. Now, the first week we noticed some discrepancies where now and then you went inside the dungeon, then grouped, and it would keep the dungeon at your level, but this seems to have been patched out as of the last 2 weeks. Everything has been scaled to VR16 for us. In my team, we have 2 VR5s, healer and tank, and a fresh VR16 DPS. Queue times for us have been instant, as we only need 1 DPS. Last week, only one group finder. It gave us the option to port to the dungeon when we had a full group, but that has only happened once. We've been running groups like this once every night. It has the potential, and with some more refining, it can be really good. Hoping they activate the port to dungeon option each time, better playing with other factions, and also the extra daily loot option for running. We have grouped with level 30s to VR16s and never had any issues completing the daily pledge, but it's in the right direction." That's Brett from Ireland. I don't know if I'm going to say first off, we know it won't scale to your level if you form the group 100% yourself and go in. And I apologize if we didn't make that clear. If you at any time use the dungeon finder, it will scale you up.
Yeah, I don't use the dungeon finder, so I wasn't speaking from the dungeon finder at all.
Yeah, if you form a 4-man party, then it will scale to whoever your group leader is. But you have to form the whole party. Even if you form like your team, you only need 1 DPS, it will always scale you because you use the dungeon finder. So that's sorry if we were a little informing in our information. We meant well in that. It's just I think we kind of let it roll through. But yes, Dungeon Finder does scale everyone to VR16. It is a wonderful change because I've been using the Dungeon Finder almost every day.
Wait, is it 16 or 15? They
16. It scales it to
15.
16. Everything is VR16. Helms are VR16 if you get them. It is a wonderful change, and it works really well. I mean, even the DPS queues aren't that long in that game, and maybe, I don't know, maybe it's just because I don't know if it's older, like time is relative kind of deal. The time limits really haven't been overly long. I mean, I remember sitting in dungeon queues in World of Warcraft that felt like longer. I don't know if it's just because I've been running around in ESO picking flowers and then I lose track of time, because I really think the longest I think I've waited has been 25 minutes or something like that, which for a DPS actually is pretty good, to be honest.
That's not too bad. That's pretty nice.
And that's actually one of the longest times I've recorded. I've actually gotten in one time. Today, actually, I did the Silver Pledge using the Dungeon Finder. And I literally got up to go to the bathroom and come back, and everyone was already in the dungeon and had automatically ported me in because I didn't answer the queue, to automatically port. So if you don't answer it, it does automatically port you into the dungeon. I was gone like 2 minutes. I was not gone long. I literally only had to go pee and go back. And I was like, oh, I'll just put myself in a dungeon finder. I'll go pee. I'll get a drink, and I'll come right back. Came right back. I was already in the dungeon. I was like... I parked myself. Where was I at? I think I was in Deshaun stealing stuff. And while in Deshaun, I was like, all of a sudden I look in and I'm in the Blessed Crucible, and I'm like, wait a minute. This isn't where I parked my car. Like, I was so confused at first. I'm like, oh my goodness, it got me in a dungeon already.
I don't know what I'm more impressed with, the speed at which you got the dungeon or the fact the load screen had finished by the time you came back from the toilet.
I know, right?
Right?
Double whammy of awesome.
Wow, so amazing. This is the best game ever. Why? Does it have good mechanics? No, Dungeon Finder was fast and load screens aren't long. Oh my goodness. no, the load screens have been so much better since the most recent patch. So our console friends out there, you guys are in for a treat because the 2.2.6 patch, as it was called in the PC. I know you guys aren't on 2.0. You're on some other number scheme. I don't know what it is, and I should look it up, but I don't because I play on PC. But essentially, regardless of what the number is, we're on the same content. But you're getting the patch that has the better load screens this week. So both of you guys are in for a treat because I don't think you guys have experienced the load screens as anything but slow. Because the load screen started getting bad after, what was it, update 5 or something? 4 or 5 is when they started getting progressively worse. Yeah. And that was like 6 months before the consoles even got released. So you guys have known nothing but slow. So for you guys, it's probably just going to be, oh, wow, they fixed it. It's so much faster now. You guys have known no different unless you played on PC. But yeah, so that's exciting. So yeah, Brett, thank you so much for your email, man. And I'm sorry if it took me a while to get to this. I do apologize. I will be working on getting to the emails we get at our contact at dungeoncrawlernetwork.com a lot faster. I've just been inundated with spam recently from all over the place. So I've been working with our hosting solution who hosts our email, going, guys, I need some spam filters put on this email because I'm getting so much crap. So makes it very difficult to respond because then I go look at an email while I'm at work, go, I need to sit down and write a response, but by the time I get home I have 50 spam emails and I forget that did I respond to that person or didn't I? So that's what I'm dealing with at the moment.
And just to confirm, Dungeon Finder at the moment is still faction only? They haven't
No, it's cross-faction.
It is cross-faction already?
Yes, I actually got a friend request from somebody in the game who was running with me. It was like, I enjoyed running with you, so they added me, and then they were sending me messages going, hey, I need a DPS. Do you want to come along for this? So it's a guild group, and they were Aldmari Dominion, and I'm like, I'm EP, dude. Can't help you. No, it is cross-faction. The cross-faction does work for the Dungeon Finder. I cannot wait till they... Yeah. I cannot wait till they add it in for... cross-faction grouping for trials and dungeons for groups that you form. That's going to make Avi and Kilted, our dungeon running nights, so much easier because... We have so many people in guilds all over the place that it's really is a pain to be able to go, yeah, we're gonna run a dungeon together for EP Pledge Night, and it's like, well, we have 3 EP guys on right now, and we have 5 Aldmari Dominion people on, and 2 Daggerfall. Wow, it'd be great. We'd actually, have a fairly decent, grouping here if we could just all get together and form groups. I know we have a couple people who I've been talking to, Amanda Gray in the guilds. Shout out to her. She's great. She's been listening and interacting with us on Twitter a lot, and I keep trying to get her to come to the Dungeon Nights, but she's Daggerfall Covenant almost exclusively. So Wicked Wolf is another person in the guild. Can't wait to run with him, but most of his characters are either DC or Aldmari Dominion. Heck, all the rest of my friends over at like the QGN side, Rage and Varwin and KDR Mickey and Mike Carnigan Wolf, all these people who I want to run with, but we're all different factions. So, yeah, it makes it kind of difficult to get together. But when that patch comes out that we can start doing cross faction for PvE related stuff, it's going to be so much fun. So much fun. I can't wait. Cannot wait.
At least I can use my Daggerfall guys.
Yeah, right. You're a lonely Daggerfall, which I know you're gonna be so pissed at, because then you'll be like, "Darn it, Zos! All my characters I deleted. I could have been playing along
3 VRs.
Oh, all my VR characters that I've deleted. So yeah, no, that's what that is. So. I'm excited for when that stuff kind of comes in. I mean, it is definitely in a good direction, at least with the Dungeon Finder, because I really do find groups incredibly fast using the Dungeon Finder now. Now, there have been a couple instances, and you do this anytime you're running in a dungeon finder group. And I'm not saying I'm the best DPS. I got turned down for a group earlier today because they asked what my DPS was, and I told them truthfully I'm only pulling about 11 to 12k currently. And I think that'll go up slightly when I get the rest of my agility jewelry as well as the rest of my VR16 gear. But I was told outright that no, I couldn't come because my DPS was too low. And it was fine because it was for veteran White Gold Tower. And I said to him, like, I'm fine with that. I understand. I offered. And he was like, yeah, you just need to up your DPS a little bit. This is what you should be shooting for. He was a very nice guy. I'm not saying anything about that. But I was turned down because it is a very hard dungeon.
Yeah.
And you need to have some really high numbers. And right now, my numbers, unless I had someone who was really, really high too, it would be very difficult. And so I need to get my numbers up. And plus, it will also help, I think, when I have better internet and I can weave a little bit better than what I do right now. Because I miss so many weave attempts, and that's like 30% of your DPS as a stamina is getting that light attack weave in there. So once I have a better ping, that should really, really help as well. But I have run into issues with the Dungeon Finder, and it's not Zoss's fault. I'm gonna say that it's the luck of the draw. There actually was a buff in World of Warcraft that they gave you, which they give you here too, which is the extra 10% mitigation and healing received, or no, damage and healing received, to help people, because you don't know what you're gonna get. You may get somebody who doesn't really know how to play their class in an effective way. I don't want to say the right way. We'll just say an effective way, because I think a lot of the skills can be used in a right way, but maybe not optimally. So they don't know how to do it optimally, and as such, they're not pulling the DPS that's required, or the tanking that's required, or the healing that's required. They're set up in a different way, and they may not have the skills to change. They may, it makes it very difficult. And I have run across a few of the harder dungeons. I'm trying to think. It's not really a hard dungeon, and people will say it is, it isn't. It's Veteran Darkshade. Veteran Darkshade is easy, with the exception of Grobel. Grobel's not hard, but it does have a very, very strong AoE DPS check. Like, you have to be able to kill those things quickly, and if your AoE DPS is not strong enough, you're going to get overwhelmed by netches. Like, you need to have pretty powerful DPS, and I think that's the only one I've run across right now, because I've only been doing the pledges in the Dungeon Finder, and when that's up there, that's the only one that's kind of hit or miss, because if you don't have good DPS for Grobel, you're not getting the gold key, and then people leave because they want the gold key. So, you can't skip him. I don't know.
Unless you get a template, a magic template will sort it out for you.
Don't bring me into this.
You can pretty much solo Grobel on your own as a template. It's ridiculous.
As that Magicka Templar that you're talking about.
Well, actually, it was my DPS tank at the time, so I actually could handle it as well. So everyone else is dead, and I'm sitting there with my puncturing sweeps. And then when Grobel finally falls down, I finish killing, turn around, there's the 3 guys, and then carry on again. Like, thanks for coming, guys.
Thanks for coming. You guys are great. Love you all. Now, I'm still stamina. I've wanted to try that Magicka DPS. It's just, I don't know. Can't do it. Can't do it. Every time I try, my DPS was just so bad, and I don't know why. I mean, I may try it again. I need to respec soon, but it's kind of at the point right now that the VR16 gear is so hard to get. Because the stuff actually still is pretty expensive. Like, it has dropped for the people who were talking to me. They made it rare enough that it's still somewhat hard to get. Not really hard. It's not every mob in Orsinium that drops it. Not every node is VR16. So it's still rare enough that the price has dropped by about half that I've seen. So it was going from 400 to 500 in most cases. Now you can find it for much cheaper, looking at closer to the 250 range, depending on the buyer or seller. So it has dropped, but 250 per thing, it's still kind of up there because you need anywhere from 100 to 140 for one piece of gear. So
Yep, that's a lot.
but yeah, you're looking at what is that, like 30K or something like that, 30 or 40K per piece, and that's not including the upgrade or the enchantments. So I mean, yeah, you're spending a good amount of money just to get gear right now if you're buying everything. And I'm a miser. I'm still holding all my money. I have a little almost 600,000 gold in the bank, and I refuse to spend it. Like
Waiting for that housing, huh?
waiting for that housing, yeah, because I'm waiting
Wow.
for that stuff.
You may as well, if you're going to test anyway, you may as well make VR 14 or VR 15 stuff at most, because if you're not breaking 10k with that gear, then the VR 16 isn't going to save you. So there's no point in testing VR 16 where you can make a much cheaper, easier set.
Yeah, I guess I could make some VR 15 Magicka gear. I guess that wouldn't be too hard to do.
I mean, as I say, even VR 14 using your old Void Steel should do the trick. Honestly, a purple set should be well more than enough to get you the numbers.
Yeah, I mean, I personally have so many upgrade mats, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly.
I do because I'm a crafter and I hold all the stuff. So for me, I don't have to buy anything. But you're still looking at maybe 2 to 3 grand investment just to get things up to purple per piece if you didn't already have the materials. I just so happen to have been doing so much crafting for so long that it's not, I eat the costs just because I have everything. But yeah, I guess I could roll with that.
I was going to say, does anyone not have the mats? I mean, my God, the purple stuff and blues, you get thousands of damn things.
The green ones
Great
you get
stuff.
a lot of. The blues, I have about 200 of. The purples still sell, like, you can still sell purples and stuff like that for nigh on probably close to 900 gold. Some people, depending where you're selling, go from and what it is. The price fluctuates a little bit, but it's still, you can still get some, money out of those things.
It's crazy. I have hundreds of them.
Oh yeah, I do too, and I often sell off a good bit until I get down to about 75. I sell them in stacks of 4 at 850, 900 a pop, and they sell. Like they do, just because people need upgrades, and most people take it to purple. Almost everything as by default needs to go to purple. It's just, that's how it goes. It needs to go to purple. Legendary people tend to save for near the end, but purple is purple, and it's not that expensive to do it.
I think I've only ever had about 3 items made legendary in my entire time.
Well, I've actually
I'm
been
just
doing
too cheap.
Yeah, me
I
too
cannot, I
around
cannot
there.
make legendary.
Just can't make the legendary. I don't know.
It's too cheap. It just costs too much, like thousands. Like, no, I'm not doing it for the tiny upgrade it gives me. Sod it. I'll live with purple.
Nice.
I'm with you.
Oh, I've been doing, actually, what am I doing right now? I actually have, my greatsword is legendary. Both the daggers that I made are legendary. My chest is legendary. Like, yeah, I mean, I even have a lot of legendary. Well, not a lot of legendary. Depends what it is. I think I have like 160 of the legendary mats, but it's all for like the staves, the wood. It's like, oh, great. I really wish I had this in something else, but I don't. All right, that was our discussion topic in our mailbag for this week. Thank you so much to everyone who actually sent us mail. We really appreciate it. Gave us something to talk about this week. We hope you enjoyed that discussion. And I also want to give a big shout out to all of our Patreon subscribers over at patreon.com/dungeoncrawlernetwork. Thank you so much for supporting us. If anyone else wishes to help support the network and all that we do, you can head on over there. Little as $1 a month, every little bit counts, and it helps us out, helps us do stuff, helps us try to put out quality, somewhat quality entertainment for you guys every week. So excellent. Man, I'm just hitting a lag spike in ESO. It's kind of crazy. Kind of sucks. I don't know why.
Never good.
No, no, I don't know what's going on there, and I really want that ancestor silk. I'm staring at it, but I think I'm in combat, so it won't let me. All right, let's go ahead and roll right into our gameplay. Avi, why don't we start with you first, because I think you have the smallest amount, because you've been busy with some other stuff, and I know you've been taking a break from ESO for a little bit, just to
Yeah.
which is good to do from time to time. Just take a step back and do some other stuff. And I've been missing you in game because I need my healer.
There's so much work that goes into an MMO, and I finally realized that because I'm not really an MMO player, and it kind of hit me really hard. And I went, man, I just need to go play a game. So that's what I've been, that's what I've been doing these last few weeks. I bought a PS4, and I've just been playing some random games here and there. But I do plan on getting back in soon because I want to do regular Dragon Star Arena with you guys. I want to redo Orsinium because, man, the story is just so good. I want to get it done on my Nightblade just for the story, just to redo it and enjoy it. And I've been getting a lot of good advice on magic sets, for my healing and magic DPS. So gotta start getting you to help me craft some of those. And
well, that I can do.
yeah, after talking about all those mats you have, I guess that's a possibility.
It's
to get that done. And
it's a good thing, huh? Oh,
yeah.
I'm gonna die. I didn't.
So yeah, hopefully I'll be back in game soon. I'll be back in this week, and I'll have better tales next week. That's for sure.
Right. Well, that's fine. I mean, hey, we all got to take a break sometimes. I was telling you guys before the show, and it's really kind of funny. Sometimes I get upset at ESO, and I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna step back, and I'm gonna play some other games like The Witcher, or whatever. So I take a step back, and I play the other games. But because I do stuff with the guild and for the show, I'm like, I should really just log into the game. So I log into the game, and then I go, damn, I love this game, and then I lose track, and I never get back to finishing my single-player games, because then I get...
The problem with the single-player is I do something cool, and I can't show it to anybody. It's just kind of there. It happened. Like,
It's a hollow experience, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I get a cool piece.
Player.
I get a cool piece of armor, and it's like, well, I can't really do anything with this. I guess it helps my stats a little bit, but
right.
What am I doing that's so hard in this game?
Asteldian will actually probably agree with me with this. Whenever I play a single-player game, I feel like I'm wasting time. And, I mean, not that the game's not enjoyable. They are. A lot of times they're very enjoyable. But to me, the reason why I love MMOs so much is because they're permanent. Like, my character stays around. I don't have to worry about a corrupt save unless they really F up at the database center that hold, and mess everybody, and then that's another issue. But at least within the context of MMOs, everything I do, every little bit of time I spend on the characters is making them better in some way, either by power, prestige, through wealth, earning money in game that makes them more, that they have more buying power in the game. Whatever it is, you're doing something to improve the character, even if you've reached the quote unquote power level cap. You're working on achievements. You're doing stuff with friends. You're gaining money. Like
that's it. It's an experience shared, which to me is the biggest deal of them all. I mean, that's what a role-playing game is in the first place. Anyway, that's why MMORPGs turned up. Single-player RPGs, obviously great stories and stuff. But the problem is, I'd sooner just be reading a book. If I want a great story, I'll sit down, read a book at my own pace, put it away. If I'm gaming, it's just nice to have that social element and just others around, make it a living world, and that's how I like to play. So obviously each to their own, but yeah, I can't do single player games. It just feels very hollow to me. I haven't played a single player game in about a decade. I tried Dragon Age for a few days and I got bored. It's like done.
Yeah, it's I don't know. To me, it's always the permanence of these things, being able to go back years later and still be able to see the character without booting up a save, go, oh my goodness, it's corrupt or whatever. It's I don't know. Some people may be, oh, it's not that big of a deal or it doesn't matter. But to me, that is something with MMOs that is the reason why I love playing them. It's the shared experience with friends and the fact that your character is always going to be there until the game shuts down or you delete it or you get banned.
going back to a game years later, who on earth would possibly do that sort of thing?
Yeah, right? I wonder who would be playing a 20-year-old game right now.
16 years old, 16.
16.
Hey, don't go 20 here, okay? It's
I'm
only
loving it.
16.
It's only 16. Yeah. For those who don't know what we're talking about, our good friend Asteldian here has been playing on. Are you playing on Project 99, or are you actually?
Yes, Project 99.
Project
Quest
99. Yeah. You want to talk about old school hardcore MMOs? There you go, man. That's some insanity.
Yeah, our friend lost level 16 5 times in the course of about a day.
Oh, you can actually
He did.
D-level?
Oh, hell yeah. And you can... Oh, if you go really bad, you could lead level twice if you're not careful. But
Ooh,
yeah, so
wow.
he got to his new level where he got new spells, because obviously you only get new spells every few levels. And he got them, and it was quite an important level, because he gets a spell that increases everyone's magic regen. And he lost the ability to cast that about 5 times for the next 3 or 4 hours.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, it's brutal.
I remember they had that in Final Fantasy XI, and that was the one thing I never liked. Was the de-leveling to a certain point. I like harsh death penalties, but I wish there were, like, you could literally have a level 65 character or 75 character, and I actually seen someone who did this. It was a husband and wife who they started going through a divorce. So out of spite, the woman took the husband's level 75 paladin, went and just kept killing him over and over and over again until he was level 1.
Gosh, that's horrible.
And that was like 3 years of work to get up that high.
One way to ruin a relationship.
Yeah, right?
Experience loss is painful, it is horrible, but at the same time, the fact you hate it is what makes death so intense.
Oh, yeah.
Running for your life is something even corpse runs alone just don't quite come back. When you combine it with the idea of losing experience, it crosses between frustration and rage quitting, to also working your ass off to make sure you don't get in a situation where you die.
Right. I know I was watching you, and a couple things that I really liked was the just the group effort of doing a bunch of stuff. Watching you guys do looking for your goblin's main sword, that were quests that spanned entire careers almost, or entire of a character, rather than just half a level or a quarter of a level. Quests that you picked up and went, wow, this will get me a super awesome ability when I finish it, but oh my goodness, the amount of work it's going to take, this is going to be like a career-long quest.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough, that Ghoulbane you talk about, as that's a thing you sort of do all the way up to level 30, but it's a great weapon in itself, but that's actually part of an epic quest which goes on all the way up to level 50. You trade that in for something else, and that gets traded in for something else after that. It's a big-ass quest pretty much your entire life, and then when you get to max level, you're kind of ready to kill the raid mobs to actually finish it.
Right. And I love that. That's
awesome.
I wish more games would do that. Even ESO, I would love for them to have some sort of thing where that you worked on for a very, very long time, even if it was like a class-specific weapon, like a Templar greatsword. Like, you could pick your weapon kind of like you did at the end of the Fighters Guild, but it was a class-long thing that required hundreds of mats. Like, you don't even have to be a crafter, but it's like, in order for us to finish the temper on this, we need 100 tempering alloys, the legendary mats. Like, it'd be like 100. Oh my goodness, that's just insanity when you think about it. But that's something you'd be able to do over time, and as you're collecting, you just keep turning them in, and you see it tick up, going, oh wow, I'm 30 of 100 tempering alloys turned in. And then when you finally get that weapon that has a special glow that that only your class can get, and you're walking around with it going, yeah, yeah, there's nothing like that. That's so much fun to do. So much fun.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem, isn't it? Quests tend to be a bit throwaway, but that's kind of the way things are.
Yeah.
Not for ESO, just games in general now.
Modern games, yeah. I don't think a game has... Early World of Warcraft had a few of those. Early World of Warcraft, like before the Paladin quest to get your charger mount. It was, I wouldn't say it was it was like a class quest to get the charger mount, but it took a long time because it took a lot of gold. It took like 250 gold, which was a lot at that point. It required you to get rare drops from like dungeons Stratholme full of undead that you would just go and farm it and do these dungeon runs and hope that they dropped. There was a lot of stuff in there. I remember sitting in there in zones going, is anyone doing Stratholme today? I need to run it again, and maybe I'll get lucky enough to get 1 or 2 pieces of the 50 that I need. And yeah, I love those kind of things, and I wish ESO started doing some of those epic quest lines that just take a lot of time, a lot of experience, a lot of things you have to do.
Yeah, I mean, they could even just implement what's there, isn't it? All the existing raids, the various Dragonstar arenas, just sort of combine them all into being, doing each thing gives you some part of an item you need to give yourself your class item, as it were, your class weapon or whatever it is they're going to give you at the end.
Yeah.
You could sort of just use the existing contents. It's not necessarily like you have to create a whole brand new set just for it.
No. Yeah, it would be great. Get people out doing content, helping each other out. Heck, make the items sellable. Like, anyone can get them, and a lot of people sold the Paladin items because they were a crafting mat that dropped off of the undead, and people would sell them because they were used in recipes, they were used as the Paladin quest, so other classes could get them and go, hey, I got this. Let's throw it up there. It's a good way of making money too, because people would buy it who was easier to earn money than it was to do the dungeons, would just buy the stuff, because it's like, listen guys, it takes me like 10 hours to do a single dungeon, but in 10 hours I could make enough money to buy 5 of them. Good stuff. Asteldian, let's talk about your game time.
Yeah, I had some game time after having my break from the game. The wife and I actually stepped into Orsinium just last night.
Ooh,
or the night before, Friday night. Yeah, so we popped in there and actually started doing some of the quests. I got to say, it's a nice looking place, and the quests themselves seemed quite enjoyable. I did a couple of delves while I was there as well. I'm still underwhelmed by delves, shall we say. But I didn't get around to doing a public dungeon. I want to try and do a public dungeon because, as we talked about earlier, if they're anything like the world bosses, hell of me impressed. That's the one thing I will say stand out in Orsinium I mean, it was only about 2 hours we were there, but my experience, the world bosses were definitely the bit of content that I was proper impressed with. I was like, wow, this fight is quite brutal. There's just me and the wife. There's about 3 or 4 other people also doing it, so there's 6 of us. So it wasn't coordinated, of course, which obviously makes it more of a challenge. But yeah, just wave upon wave of monsters kept coming, and
that's still a huge step up, though, from what it was before. Even if it's needing 6 or 7 somewhat uncoordinated.
That's what I mean. It might have just needed a group of you coordinate, but there's six of us there or whatever, and it was quite nasty. I say wave upon wave of mobs were coming, and because we weren't coordinated, it made it that extra challenging because we were just running all over the place. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I thought, wow, that was really good. So at some point I'll probably have to log on to go and hunt down every other world boss and just enjoy all them, because that's by far my favorite part of the Orsinium I've done so far.
Well, log in every day, get the dailies.
Be sure to pick up the daily, yeah, exactly. You get some good loot from there.
Yes, a lot of the new sets come out of the daily quests, kind of like how the monster shoulders come out of the, why am I drawing a blank here? Out of the pledge dailies. The Orsinium dailies give you a lot of the new sets in VR16 equivalents. So people farm those and do those.
Nice.
So it's a reason to get out there and do it. Get a little bit of money, chance at... and actually, before you continue, public service announcement. I don't know if anyone else noticed this. I didn't know this, so maybe that's just my problem. But did you know you can get monster helms out of the silver keys? Shoulders.
Yeah.
I've gotten a shoulder out of a silver chest, I feel like.
I never knew they had that before. I thought it was only the gold ones.
It was an update they did, but I can't remember when they brought it in. But yeah, as far as I'm aware, anything can come from this. Shoulders can come from silver. Very, very small chance compared to a gold, but the chance is there nevertheless. Yeah,
because I actually got a VR16. It was blue, but who cares, right? I mean, I got the purple mats. I could make it purple if I wanted. Oh no, I have to upgrade it to purple myself. Shucks. What is that going to put me out? 400 gold? Oh, Screw me. No, it was not a big deal, but I was surprised. I opened it up and I was like, wait a minute. That's a monster shoulder. I didn't know the VR16s actually had them. Like, at least I mean the silver. Like, I've been doing the silver every day, just for getting the mercenary motifs because I've been selling them off. They make they sell quick. They make a decent amount of gold, few thousand. It's not a big deal, but I've been doing it, and it's just experience. It's fun to play the dungeons. I've been working on those and doing the silvers and stuff like that. And today's silver one actually got a shoulder out of it, and I didn't know that. Like, I thought it was only the gold ones because never before have I gotten a key from anything but, or a shoulder from anything but gold.
Yeah, it got added. Oh, I can't remember. It was definitely sometime around the 2 point something. Because I remember talking about it on the official forums at the time because we were talking about how pointless the silver keys were. And like, well, how about? Because I actually put it on the board. I said, how about actually dropping some of the dungeon exclusive gear in the silver keys? You know, so the even whatever sets. How about them drop out? And people were giving other ideas as well. And yeah, the silver key having a small chance of dropping the shoulders is obviously what they decided to go with in the end.
Yeah, and I was amazed at that because I opened up and went, wow, that works. That worked out well for me. I enjoyed it a lot. I mean, it's not a shoulder that I really wanted. It was a Malabeth or whatever it is, one you get from Crypt of Hearts. I mean, it's not bad. I don't have a character right now that needs it, but maybe sometime in the future. I don't know. I'll have to wait and see, I guess. I just don't know. All right, continue. I had to say that because you were talking about the keys and like or rewards and whatnot. I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably not much more to say than that. But yeah, I say we just started questing through the zone, got to the actual big town, saw the little museum that you got to start questing for, put up the very first item in there, and whatever, the orc artifacts, whatever they are that we put in there. So that's
right.
Like a nice touch. Yeah, I mean, nice place. Well, very nicely put together. I say, as my only criticism of the place is just the fact that, aside from the awesome things such as the world bosses, it is just too damn easy still. And you know, because I mean, my guys are archaic. My guys, let's see, he's not been updated in gear since before Imperial City came out. So his gear is you call it pretty dated by this point. You know, it's decent gear, but not legendary and not anything special. But I'd say the mobs just fall over as soon as you come near them. It doesn't help that obviously I like to group with my wife. You know, that's why we play MMOs, to play together. So it's easy enough just one of you. With two of you walking around, it's an absolute joke.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Right.
So,
not even worth the time.
no, but I say it's not worth getting off your horse. If one of us engages, the other one just sits there on the horse and waits for the mobs to die and just move on. Save yourself the effort of getting off the horse. But then, of course, the buggers drop loot, so you have to get off your horse and loot.
Gotta get the
That's
loot.
what I want them to add. They should let you loot while you're still on your horse. That would be such a big deal for me, because then it would just save me from getting off my horse and the wife goes and slaughters something and just go, oh yeah, I've been down, picked it up, thanks.
Well, they in a way, they've already are working in that direction because they've added the ability to talk to NPCs while on your horse. That was a long time ago, but we weren't able to actually do that before. It just did not work, and now you can talk to NPCs without getting off your horse. So soon we may get the looting. I like it.
Yeah, definitely, I'd love that. That'd make me a very happy man.
Nice. Oh, it's good to hear that you're getting back into the game and playing around with Orsinium. I'm definitely excited for that. I know we're looking here towards Thieves Guild is going to be coming out.
Oh yeah, Hammerfell.
Yeah, in just a few short months, possibly. It's not going to be overly long until such time as we start seeing Thieves Guild come in. So, I mean, I still haven't even done Orsinium yet in great detail. I've just been playing around, making my way through it with my wife and doing all of that. So, yeah, it might be a while till I actually get to experience Orsinium. But we're almost done with silver. Which
Yeah, that's pretty. My alts are actually in gold still, of course. My DK, but I've realised if they're getting with vet ranks, I might just wait till my DK becomes max level. So I think because I've got the champ points, so I've decided I'm not going to bother leveling up my DK anymore because I've already done the gold once. And as you were saying earlier, doing the vet ranks more than once can sort of start making you want to kill yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
definitely.
I think I'll just wait at this point, and then just become automatic equivalent to VR16 when they get rid of the VR ranks. And enjoy it there. In fact, my sorcerer will actually, my poor level 2 sorcerer will finally be max level as well, because I did not be bothered to level him up.
Isn't it so nice? I'm gonna have 7.
That's why at this point I
Choices.
just want to get the rest of my characters up to VR or just veteran rank 1 and then just be like done. Like
That's it. I almost feel the urge to make a Nightblade now, just so I can quickly get him to VR1, get him all sorted as well.
yeah. Right on. Just get that done and out. Yeah. Yeah. No, I hear you. I hear you. Any other gameplay for this week?
No, that's it. You know,
Okay.
baby steps.
Baby steps. I gotcha. As I'm stacking the guild bank right now, and I wish I was along my other character. First and foremost, let me pull up my list here because I wanted to give shout outs. As I said earlier, oops. I had 2 different people. I was playing on Saturday with Thais, and then again on today I was doing dungeons, and I had 2 separate people come up to me and say, hey, we know you from Tales. I want to give a shout out to, let's see, Nevitus Ashfang. Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. He stopped Thais and I when we were in, where were we at? We were in Holland Stand. We were doing the quest in Holland Stand, which I gotta say, it was part of my gameplay. Avi, you and I were talking about this. We only have a few places left to go. We have Ashi's, it's like a mine kind of thing, and then the Hall of Heroes. That's all we have
the
left.
mine right next to the Hall of Heroes.
Yeah, and Holland Stand. But we were talking about this before, and you're saying how Holland Stand, like the actual quest that the main quest that led to the Hall of Heroes was literally going into Septima's office, reading something, and then running off the screen.
Yeah, exactly.
But the quest to actually liberate Holland Stand, oh my goodness gracious. It ran you everywhere in the city. And I mean, the city's not overly huge, but it's like, run to this end, talk to this guy. Now talk to this guy. Oh, he's conveniently on the other side again. Okay, let's just run through the main street full of Imperials. So yeah, slash, spell. Okay, they're all dead. Okay, that's great. Go over there. Okay, all right, talk to you. Okay, you want me to go back and tell the guy again? All right, back across the street again. And it's like everywhere. Oh, and I've never seen so many taverns. Like, I thought Orsinium had a lot of taverns. I mean, you have orcs, so whatever. But it's like, oh, you need to go to the Sun Bucket Tavern. Okay. Now go over to the Sandy Scrub Tavern. Okay. There's like 15 taverns in Holland Stand. And every
Because they
one-
live on the ugly side of Bankurai, man.
They do. Well, yeah, they definitely live on the ugly side of Bankurai.
Is it ugly because the place is ugly, or the people are ugly? That's why they have to drink so much.
All of it.
A little
All
bit
of
both,
it.
yeah.
It's all pretty bad. And so yeah, so that was the first person I want to give a shout out to. And then yeah, we were doing the Holland Stand quest. And finished that up, but oh my goodness, that quest, it's you know how MMO gamers and stuff talk about that fetch quest and that kind of deal, like, oh my goodness, it's another fetch quest, or it's the FedEx quest. Oh, run this here, run this here. I have never run so many places for a single quest ever. And it's go talk to this guy. Now go talk to this guy. Go in here and talk to this courtesan. You talk to the courtesan. The guy who you just talked to walks in behind you. He goes, couldn't you just have told her? I mean, you're right here. The Red Adder or Red Asp or whatever his name was, the leader of this rebellion, he's like, go over and talk to this person. We need to find a way who betrayed the city. Well, okay, that sounds logical. So you walk in there, and then as soon as you talk to her, he walks in behind you going, yeah, tell him what you know. Well, I'm doing this for you. Couldn't you have just asked? Like, literally, you're right behind me. Am I the muscle here? Am I just to make her answer? I mean, she's a hooker. How much have you not played Grand Theft Auto? It doesn't take a lot of time to beat up a hooker. Okay, you don't need me. Sorry, I went dark there, but it's just like, wow, like the amount of running around that you had to do in that quest to liberate Holland's Stand was just insane. It was just so much. And I don't say this often about Elder Scrolls Online quests because I think they're great. Holland's Stand one should just be deleted from the game. Like, I don't know. It's just the amount of running. By the end of it, it got to be unenjoyable because of the sheer amount of running back and forth and talking this person, this person, this person. I think they should have just got everyone into one tavern and everyone just sat down and said all their pieces so I didn't have to run around and then go do this thing.
I hate glorified messenger jobs. It's like, dude, seriously, I'm a hero. Why are you sending me around to send mail or something?
Yeah, I'm killing Daedra by the swathes of them, okay? I'm like Drizzt in 10,000 orcs, alright? I'm just slicing through all of them, and you're sending me to deliver a message to a hooker. Isn't there someone else a little more qualified?
Do you know who I am?
Do you know who I am?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, that's Jeff Vader, that is. Jeff Vader, who's he? He runs the Death Star. What's the Death Star? This is the Death Star. This is the Star.
Catering? No, I'm not head of catering. I'm Lord Vader.
Lord Vader? Lord Sir Vader Ham? Okay, for everyone who doesn't know, that's the Cantina skit from, why am I drawing a blank? Eddie Izzard.
Eddie Izzard.
Yes. Yes. Do you know who I am? That's Jeff, head of catering. Mr. Stevens. I could kill Mr. Stevens with this tray. I could hack at his neck with the tiny thin bit, and I could kill you with a thought. I could kill me with a thought. No, you need a tray because the food is hot. Oh, I'm sorry. Man, now I want to.
Anyone who has no idea what that is to look that up. Just put Darth Vader canteen.
You have to look it up. It's hilarious.
There's also one done with Lego on YouTube as well. So you got little Lego figurines doing it all.
I did see the Lego figurine one. That was humorous. That was really humorous. Avi, have you seen the Cantina skit? Eddie Izzard.
No, I have not.
Sir, you need to do that and report back to me next episode, just because it has to happen.
Will do.
Kill you with a thought. Well, yeah, no, that's how I feel. It really is. It's like, dude, I'm sitting here looking at my title here. I mean, it's.
I'm important.
I'm a very important person. My apartment smells like rich mahogany. I have many leather-bound books. Yeah, no, Anchorman?
Sure, I'll give it. Why not?
Yeah, I'll deliver. Okay, just give me the message. Yeah, that quest was just very annoying, and I did not enjoy it much. It just was not a lot of fun. Not because the story wasn't good, it was just okay, couldn't you just cut out so much of the running? It really did make me feel like, yeah, I didn't feel like a hero. I felt like a delivery boy, and it was not enjoyable. It took away some of the intrigue of the story when it's just like, let's just hurry up and get this over with. I'm getting tired of running back and forth between these Imperials and just slaughtering. It's like, do I even need to talk to these people? You seen how many? Like, I was pulling the entire city at one time just to make it more fun, because it's like, okay, I can handle groups of 2 or 3. I'm sending Thais. Just go grab all of them. She's like, well, how many do you want? Just everything you see. Just cast a spell and run it back here. I'm just gonna biting jabs it all to death. And it just was not very enjoyable. And I think they could have done almost anything to make it better. Yeah, wow, I'm running across people are doing the Mad Ogre quest, but I'm not doing it because I'm going to wait for Thais. That's right. Yeah. Alright, so then we did that. We had about 2.5 hours, almost 3 hours of game time, but so much of it was running back and forth in Holland's Stand that we didn't get to actually finish Bankorai like I thought we would this week. Like, I honestly thought we were going to finish Bankorai this week and finish off. Now, we did get the achievement for, like, the Hero of the Daggerfall Covenant. If you're following me on Twitter, I've taken to spamming my achievements. When I get an achievement, I take a screenshot and I post it on Twitter.
I noticed that.
If you don't like it, then go screw yourself. I don't know.
Or just unfollow.
Or just unfollow. Yeah, I don't really care. I mean, it's my personal Twitter, but that's what I'm doing. Like, it's fun for me to do because I like to show off. What can I say? It's fun to show off, and some of them are not all that interesting. Some of them are just what they are. They're not really anything super special. But it's fun to actually go ahead and do these things. Now, this cat will not leave me alone, and it's really
Embrace the perks of an MMO.
Exactly.
You got to show off.
I have to show off. If I don't show off, what's the whole point of this? You know, I don't get my EPing up.
You're back in a single-player game.
Yeah, exactly. I can't even show off myself. Why do you think even Steam and Xbox started doing trophies so you could show off what you do in single-player games? Because
That's why PlayStation put a PS share button right on the controller.
Right?
Like, oh, share your moments with people that can't see it.
Exactly. It's let's see, how far back did I actually go? I talked about the mercenary achievement last week, right? Getting all the mercenary style.
Yeah.
Okay. I got Veteran Kwama Slayer. Defeat 200 Kwama in Veteran Darkshade Caverns. I got that this week. I got Bankorai Adventurer, which was complete all 36 quests in Bankorai. I'm obviously not done yet, but they give you a little bit of leeway there. That finished off Hero of the Daggerfall Covenant, which was completing all of the Daggerfall Covenant quest achievements. So I got the Covenant Hero title and the Covenant Blue Die. That's always exciting. Bankorai Pathfinder. That's just, an exploration one, but still kind of neat. As well as the thing that finished it off was that gave me the Bankorai Master Explorer, which was the Cave Delver, and the Pathfinder achievement, which gave me the Wisp Blue Die, as well as the Daggerfall Master Explorer, which was doing all of these things, which gave me the Orichalcum Green Die. So that's exciting. So yeah, those are the achievements I got so far this week. Oh no, I got another one. Veteran Spider Kith Slayer, which is slay 200 of the Spider Kith in Veteran Crypt of Hearts. And then just while I was on the show, at the very beginning of the show, I got my most recent expand thing, which I'm pulling up on the screen right now, which is Sneak Thief Extraordinaire. Successfully pickpocket 1,000 citizens of Tamriel.
Crazy.
Oh, very nice.
I'm a dirty bastard. I've actually been running around with my bags full because I haven't been able to... I can only launder 50 things and fence 50 things. Well, you know how many things I stole? I have like over 1,000 items in my bag right now of stolen goods that I can only do about 100 a day on. It's like, okay, well, my next week is pretty much full because I can't do anything else because I don't have any points in the perks that allow me to sell more, because I really was only doing this for the achievement and the die, so I didn't really spend a lot of points in the ledger main, so nothing special there. But yeah, I've been putting out my achievements on Twitter, and that's been a lot of fun. And that's brings me to my second shout out. As I was telling, oops, no, that's not the one I need. It's this one. My second shout out goes to, I'm going to try to pronounce this, Nynevae, Nynevae. When I was doing the daily Silver Pledge, I told you guys I got ported, while I was taking my bathroom break, I got ported into the dungeon. And as soon as I ported in the dungeon, everyone was saying, hello, hello. And this person was like, hey, it's Aggelos. And I go, hello. And they were like, oh, what's up, man? I love the podcast. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. So 2 days in a row, I had someone see me in game and flag us down going, hey, and that's always really nice. I really like knowing that the community listens and comes out and say hi. I mean, I don't bite hard, and I like it when people stop by and go, "Hey, I like the show. That's great." I love that kind of feedback. So I do encourage people to do that and make it your name shouted out on the show. So there you go. Those are my shout outs for the day. Otherwise, I've been just running around Orsinium. I haven't done any quest on my main yet because all the nodes scale up to whatever your crafter is. Well, my crafter is my main. So he's running around gathering materials, whether it be alchemy materials and things like that. He's doing all of that. And but I'm not doing any of the quest or anything because I'm saving all of that for when Thais and I play. And we're almost done with silver, and then we're going to start gold, and then we're going to do Craglorn. So I'm going to need a third person, whether it be Mr. Avi or Arcaneer. I said one of you two will probably come if I send you a message going, "Come play with Thais and I on a Saturday night, and let's do some quests." Because I really want to do...
available.
Excellent. Yeah, because I really want to do all those quests, sit down and like we do. I want to just ask in chat because the way we play the game, at least the first time, is we'll sit and listen to the dialogue. We like doing that, and it's kind of hard to ask some random person, "Oh, wait 2 minutes while I'm sitting here listening to this," because they're like, let's just go, right? But when I run with you and I run with Ark, you guys will listen to the quest as well. We get the full story experience, and that's what I want to do. I actually have, if you look at my camera right now, I actually have to pull it up so I can see what I'm doing. Because I've been doing Craglorn Nights in the past, I have so many things cleared. Even though I never accepted the quest, it still marks as cleared. So I printed off a handy-dandy map of Craglorn. And this handy-dandy map, I have a little red marker that when I finish something, I cross it off of here. That way, despite what my map says I discovered in-game, this shows me what I still have yet to do in order of sitting down and listening to the quest. Yes, that's how nerdy I am. So I have my little handy-dandy map of Craglorn stuffed into my desk. Because that's one of the things that I like to do. I wanted to go through all the story, and I know a lot of the quests are daily quests in Orsinium, or not Orsinium, but in Craglorn, but they still have good stories to them, and I would actually like to sit down and listen to the story once or twice. At least that's the goal, anyway.
Yeah, I still haven't done the Craglorn story, so...
Oh, yeah, the actual...
It's all new to me.
The actual one-time story. Yeah, I've done a few of the daily quests. Now, I didn't listen. I just kind of spacebarred through them while we were doing our Craglorn nights. But, yeah, I still have the what is it? Gazer at the... What is the quest? I'm actually pulling it up here right now. Craglorn, the Stargazers. Ask about the Stargazer. Yes. No, I got past the cart. Now it says go up the hill and ask about the Stargazers. So I'm a little further along.
my Breton Templar hasn't even been to Craglorn yet, so
Wow.
I don't think or maybe she has. I think I went fishing there. I can't remember.
I don't remember if you went. You went fishing there the one day we were fishing.
Okay, I couldn't remember if it was with her or with Mike Ajit.
Oh, actually, now that I'm almost positive you did with her because we did it 1 or 2 nights.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I think I did take her.
One night it was your cat because I remember some Khajiit because we were doing it and I'm sitting there just fishing and someone...
When I snuck up on you.
Yeah, start slashing her. So I'm like, who the heck is this guy? And then it's you. But I think the second time you brought Estelle of the North.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And she's been there.
Yeah, she was there fishing in that big lake. But there's so much in Craglorn I still want to do and experience and go through. The only way to do that is you need at least 3 players. Not because the quests are difficult. I think between Thais and I, I'm able to do almost everything solo. She has heals and DPS. She could throw a heal down and it'd be fine. It's the fact that you literally can't do it because there's certain quests that require, even the Spell Scar quest requires 3 separate people to pick up the different elemental auras. One person can't pick up more than one, and you need 3 of them in order to open the gate. So
That right there is why I haven't done it.
yeah,
Can I just say I really hate that too? I mean, I think it was an awful design. I mean, as someone who is a big I love grouping type thing, I like to group because the content requires it, not because of some BS requirement that sort of gates you from doing it. Because like, oh, you need each of you to hold this. So what you're saying is you give me a quest that's soloable, but you need me to have 3 people just to carry this crap with us. Like, no, it's like that's a very half-assed way of making it group content. So I'd rather just they redid Draglon and got rid of those sort of pointless requirements. If you're good enough to do it on your own, let people do it on their own.
I agree. Like, yeah, it really is. It's not the fact that I couldn't do it. It's the fact that I literally cannot get through that door because I can't be in 3 places at once. And it's annoying. It's yeah. You know, and we're all, and Asteldian and I, we're both about group content, but not in that way. Not in that cheesy way where it's like, great, now I have to make the content even more trivial by bringing along a third person because he has to stand on a plate at one point in this dungeon so I can get through a gate.
Yeah, the content isn't hard or challenging or anything like that. You just have to have somebody that can stand on that button.
That's kind of like, what was I doing? Back early, I think in early Wrath or whatever, we were soloing a lot of the old raids in World of Warcraft. And we were doing it to try to get Thunder Fury or whatnot. And I always had to have a friend with me. Not because the content was difficult, because we were so over-leveled. Because one boss always, as part of his mechanic, mind-controlled somebody. And if he mind-controlled you, he reset. So you had to always have one person to deactivate it. Because it was designed for a much larger group of people, obviously. But when you're so over-leveled, we're like, we just want to get by this boss so that we can farm some of the Dragonite ore or whatever it is that we needed in order to finish an old legendary weapon for no other greater reason than we just wanted to collect it. But you couldn't without having another person there, just because you couldn't beat the first boss, because the mechanic actually required at least 2 people so he wouldn't reset. Now they eventually changed that, but it was just, those kind of things don't create difficulty, at least not when you're so powerful they overcreate. That one actually probably did create difficulty, but it was just an example that came in my head. Yeah, when you have to stand on a platform, it's like, couldn't I just push that boulder that's sitting over there on top of that platform and accomplish the same thing?
The Zelda way, man. Just push the boulder on top and keep it locked down, and then run and do your thing. Can
I kill this guy that's sitting right outside fishing and drag his lifeless corpse in here and lay it on it? Couldn't that work?
Exactly. Right, instead you got to get some hero to come along and stand on a platform. Frankly, I'd be less than sort of how to do a very large delivery quest.
Yeah, that's right. You invited me to this party. You're like, you need me to conquer this amazing quest. You're like, no, we just kind of need you to stand on that platform.
Just stand right here.
Just right there. There's your mark. Like, they sat down there with the actor tape and taped a big X on it. Just right there. That's your mark. Don't move from it.
And when you're done, send us letters like courtesan I like you over in Bangkok.
And send us letters. Exactly. It is annoying, and that's one of the reasons why we haven't done the quest, because so many of them have those artificial blockers that you just need another body, and it's annoying. I wouldn't mind if the content was actually literally difficult, that you needed the people. That would be wonderful.
Yeah, that would be cool.
You know, but it's not. I need Avi to stand on a platform. Pretty much, it's one of those things where it's almost like we could almost 2-man all this stuff, even though we would much rather do it with friends, because, like I said, that's why I have you guys who like do. It's nice to have people like you and Asteldian, Avi, who love doing the quest the way we do. Like, at least the first time listening to it and really digging into it, because then we can sit and do those quests. But it's almost like it would be easier for us to 2-man it at times and then just call in chat, hey, we need a third body real quick. Come, yeah, stand, yeah, right there, right there. Okay, good. Now you can go back to what you're doing. That's what it feels like. And putting out, it just kind of reminds us of those old MMO tropes, Asteldian. Looking for a res. Anyone in the zone that can res? Okay, good. All right, thank you. All right, here's your tip. You can go. You can go back to what you were doing. Thank you for
Just
resing me.
like paying some money for you to pop over here.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. That's probably what I would have had to do if I didn't have friends who actually liked listening to the story. It'd be like paying 1,000 gold for someone to come in here and stand on this platform. That's all you got to do. We just got to get through this gate. All right. There you go. Thank you.
I gotta admit, I do wonder what people do, because if they don't like doing the quests or reading it, I think, well, what are you doing? Like, my complaint earlier was I like doing the quests, but the actual getting from A to B is tedious because the mobs are boring, get in the way. Well, if you just spam through the quest, what the hell are you playing for? I just only wonder that it's not the killing or the challenge, and it ain't the quest for the story, then wow, that'd be really meaningless.
Yeah, this game has so much beautiful lore, and it's just, why wouldn't you want to do the quest in that manner? Now, because, well, let's face it, I mean, if you really think about it, there's no raids to go to, at least as of right now. There'll be what endgame content other than PvP is there? And if you're not VR, you're getting scaled up. There's really nothing that requires you to be VR 16. Almost everything can be done at earlier levels, except for maybe like Veteran Master Marina. But actually, no, you can do it at earlier levels. It just doesn't qualify for leaderboards unless you're VR 16. So I think it would probably even scale down to like VR 1 or whatever. If you really want to do Veteran at low levels, you could, but would it matter? Like, well, I mean, it would to you. You're experiencing the content, but nothing really requires you to actually be, max level in this game right now. Even the current trials, the way they are, when we were running trials, as long as we had a few VR 14s at the time, we would take in VR 10s. And I know, Asteldian, you did the same thing. You'd bring in sub VR 14s into your raid, at least a handful of them.
Oh god, yeah, our healers used to be as low as VR 1 sometimes, but then they changed the rule where you couldn't contribute, so healers weren't getting any drops, which was a bit harsh on them. But
right.
I think they fixed that again eventually.
Yeah, there's just, they weren't that level difficult, except for some of the hard modes. Some of the hard modes earlier were difficult. I'm not giving them that. And they probably still would be if they scaled them up, but they haven't. That it would require people. But all right, guys, that's kind of our gameplay for this week, and pretty much the end of the show. We hope you enjoyed it. It was a fun show. I at least I think so. Not a lot of news. We had some good little short discussion topics, and we got to talk gameplay. So let's go ahead and go around, give everyone's final thoughts, and where they can find you. Let's start with Asteldian.
So it's not much to talk about, and yet 2 hours later, or an hour and a half later, we're finally finishing the show. Yes.
I even said it was going to be a short show.
Well, that'd be why.
Yeah, that is the reason. We just talk too much.
But no, it was fun. I say it was nice to dip my toes back into the game again and check out the new zone, experience the world bosses. So hopefully I'll get them all dead at some point.
Excellent. And where people can find you, if any of that. I mean, you can even do your P99 if you want people to find you there.
Asteldian in ESO, Asteldian on the Saga Lucemian boards, Asteldian in EverQuest Project 99. It's pretty much been my name for the last 16 or so years, so if you go to a game, type it in. If I'm there, it's probably me.
That's sort of how I am with Aggelos. It's been my name for actually probably about the same amount of time. I think I picked up Aggelos in World of Warcraft early. No, it was way before that. I had some other names in there between, but I've had Aggelos for a very, very long time. Almost as long as my real name. So if you call it Aggelos even while I'm out in the real world, I would probably answer. I mean, what? Yes. What's up?
Yeah, I probably would. If I was an Asteldian, yes, what?
What's up?
Yep.
Yeah, what do you need?
Yeah, same here.
All right, Avi, how about you, sir?
It was a great episode. I really enjoyed it. I need to get back in game, but I enjoyed my break. As to where to find me, you can pretty much find me everywhere at Avi Optimal. It's AVIOPTIMAL. I'm even on PlayStation now, so you can add me on the network, and yeah.
Excellent. As for me, you can find me in-game in the Elder Scrolls Online at Aggelos, Aggelos. Send me a message, send me a tell. I don't care. I like when people say hi. Hello. You can find me on Twitter at Aggelos, Aggelos. You think I know my name? _ WOF is my Twitter one. I talk about games, mostly Elder Scrolls Online. You'll see lots of tweets about my achievements in game because I can and I like it. You can follow this show at Tales of Tamriel on Twitter. You can follow the network itself on Twitter at Dungeon Crawl Net. Of course, we have a Facebook page, Tales of Tamriel Podcast. People do use that still and leave us messages. You can follow the show and everything we do over at dungeoncrawlernetwork.com or youtube.com/dungeoncrawlernetwork. We have all of our videos we do, all of our podcasts, all of our tutorials that we have done in the past, Let's Plays, anything we've been doing is over there as well for your viewing pleasure. Yeah. Don't forget some of our other shows on the network. We have The Midnight Hour, hosted by Broden. It is really funny. It is a more mature rated show. There's no language barriers. But it's a general gaming podcast. We have the Dungeon Crawler Network podcast that was recorded last night on short notice. And that will be posted up later on this week. You'll hear this one first, so you'll be able to listen to it. And that one comes out a little later in the week. Chocobo Nights for the Final Fantasy fans. And I think that's about it. Our Dungeon Crawler Network site has the Dungeon Crawlers, a webcomic, which has been very Skyrim heavy the last few weeks, so definitely check that out. Latuna has been working on that very diligently and has been doing a wonderful job, so check her out as well. Thank you so much for listening, and we hope you enjoyed this episode of Tales of Tamriel. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night, people.